Hey, Mike Coltharp here. Just thought I would give you a little bit of information about me, so you know who you're working with and why I do this and where I'm from. So I started working as a shoe shiner back when I was 11 years old in the San Francisco Bay Area. A friend of mine knew how to shine shoes, and so he showed me, and I bought some supplies from the store for my allowance, and we went out to the local new car dealership, and we shined guys' shoes. The car salesmen and the sales managers and the finance guys and all that stuff, and so we got our names known pretty well. Um, and then I eventually started doing newspapers, and that was kind of a neat experience because I was able to, make some pretty good money and get up early and get my deliveries done. And then eventually I started working for other companies, and ultimately with law enforcement was my first career for over almost 20 years. And when I started my jobs or my careers, one of the things I remember was when I started a 401k, or in my law enforcement career case, it's a 457. But they're all the same. They just have different rules. But ultimately, when you put money into a IRA or investment individual retirement account or 401k, whatever, when you put money into these accounts, you're paying money into it, and you're actually not getting the tax deduction like my other video mentioned in more detail. You're actually kicking the can down the road of taxes so that you can pay them later when they're most likely higher, right? But see, I wasn't told this stuff back when I was working. When I went to get employed and do all my paperwork, the HR person, who is not a financial advisor, not an insurance agent, or anything licensed of any kind to advise me on any type of retirement accounts. I had the pension, of course. Um, but when I signed up for the 457 or my other jobs, I signed up for 401k. Nobody told me how it worked. Nobody told me that if I dump a bunch of money into this at the end of my career, I get to pay taxes. And then when I turn 73, the new laws say 73, um, I'm required by law, by the IRS, the ones who love us so much because they like our money, that I have to pay required minimum distributions, which means they tell me how much to take out. What if I don't need the money? What if you don't need the money? You just want to leave it behind to your kids. You have to take the money out. See, they didn't tell me any of this stuff. So I did that. And then toward the end of my law enforcement career, because I can retire at an early age, 50 is the earliest we can retire in California. I was preparing for that because a lot of people that I worked with, when they retire, they go into another law enforcement job, and they end up doing that until they feel like they don't want to do it anymore. Because pension is great, but it's still not enough, right? Because it's always less than what you're used to making your whole career. And so um, knowing all these things, I started my insurance agency in 2013. I sold home and auto, life insurance. And after a few years, I ended up selling the property and casualty side, which is the business home and auto side of things. And then I just focused on the life insurance side of things and the retirement decumulation. And I became an expert in the decumulation phase of one's retirement. And there'll be another video about this, but just basically, when you're saving money and you're working, you're in the accumulation phase. And as you grow in the accumulation phase, your income, your savings is growing, and hopefully your income is growing as well. So you're consistently putting money into it. So when you retire, it's the decumulation phase. That's when it's time to start spending money. And that's where my specialty has been, in that I help clients make sure that they never run out of money, right? And that their lifestyle stays as close to where it was when you're working. And so there's strategies in place for that. So I do this because I actually made a conscious decision 7 years ago not to become a financial advisor, right? Because as you probably have already watched the other video about investing, I realized early in my career that as a financial advisor, the advisors are the ones making all the money, right? And when you're retired, the advisor in many times will retire as well, or eventually. And so if you or your funds are start running out and you're running out of money because markets weren't what we are hoping or anticipating or projecting, right? Well, the financial advisor is not going to write you a check for the deficiencies that he or she created because he can't control the market. You're out of luck. So I chose not to be part of that game. I chose to be in the game where you always win and you never lose your money because of financial market losses, right? Now, are there fees? Well, yeah, there's fees in everything you do, right? But whether you have a financial advisor, 401k, or life insurance or annuities, whatever it is, there's going to be fees, right? There's costs, right? Financial institutions, banks, insurance companies, investment firms, they all got to make their money, right? But the reason I decided to do what I'm doing now is because I wanted to make sure that my clients, you, don't ever have to worry about running out of money during retirement. And when you're participating in the markets, you don't have to worry about suffering the losses of the market. And I think that's a big deal. So this is why I do what I do. If you have any questions or anything I've said resonated with you and you want to sit down and talk, send me a message if you have my number. Otherwise, just respond back to this email and we'll get you on the calendar and have a talk. I hope this information was helpful so that you can, get to know me a little bit.